right, well, we actually do have a decent chunk of our registrants already, so we will go ahead and get started. Before we begin, I do want to say Happy National Small Business Week to everyone. I will include information about that in the follow-up email. And I also want to thank our co-hosts for today's presentation, the Champaign Center Partnership, the Community Foundation of East Central Illinois, the EDC of Decatur and Macon County, the Champaign Public Library, the Mahomet Area Chamber, Parkland College Community Education, the Rantoul Chamber, University of Illinois Research Park, and Visit Champaign County. I'll also include their information in the follow-up email. So if you would like to check out any of those organizations, please do so. And that email will also include a recording of today's session and the link that Scott shares in the beginning of the presentation so you can download a copy. I do want to say thank you so much for joining us for today's session, as this is a new topic for us that we're very excited about. So please feel free to ask questions. We just ask that you submit those via the chat box, and we'll have plenty of time to answer those before we close out today's webinar. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Scott and we'll get started.
Great, thank you, Jordan, and happy National Small Business Week. I'll be sharing my screen to go over the presentation, so one moment while I pull that up. All right. Jordan, just confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Like Jordan mentioned, today is a brand new topic, how to respond to online reviews. Again, we do want to thank the Illinois SBDC at Champaign County EDC and all of our community partners for helping promote and make today's webinar possible. As Jordan, I also have a couple of housekeeping items. If you'd like a copy of today's presentation, you can visit our website at claninmarketing.com/workshops. Just scroll to the bottom of that page and you're going to see a For Attendees section. Just fill out your name and email, and again, you will get a PDF of today's presentation. In addition, I worked with Jordan over the past month to schedule out a handful of topics here, I think out till August. All of these are free webinars to join. I think one of them will be in person at the Champaign Public Library. And these are everything from website design basics, which I think, or website design essentials, which I think is one of our next ones coming up. Instagram, where we're going to be going over hands-on ways to make a reel, all those fun short format videos. So be sure to check out all those great topics and register online through our website or through the SBDC's website. As Jordan mentioned, my name is Scott Clanin. I'm the owner of Clanin Marketing. We're a marketing and creative agency based in downtown Champaign. We serve clients really all across the Midwest. We started in the digital space, so working with clients on navigating the world of digital marketing and social media, and have expanded into storytelling, branding, website production, video production, and more. But one of the things that we run into all the time, and I've actually had multiple meetings this week with clients, is all about managing your online reputation and managing your online reviews. What are ways and best practices to respond to some of those reviews? How do we maybe take some reviews down that we don't really want? And is that even a possibility? And then what are ways that we can maybe increase our reviews online? Maybe you've had some disgruntled customers in the past and they've left some negative reviews. What are ways that we can maybe funnel in some positive reviews to get that star rating back up? So I'm really excited to share some tips and tricks with you today during this new topic. So this is today's agenda. We're going to first just quickly go over the importance of online reviews. I've pulled some really interesting statistics to share with you. And then we want to review popular platforms. There's obviously many different sites online that users can leave an experience, right? Leave a star rating. What are those? I will say, I know there's a lot of different industries represented on the call today. So which one is going to work best for you? You want to be on the same platform as your customers. And so I'll be sharing some popular ones with you today. We're going to go over some tips and best practices, how to perhaps remove some reviews. I have a couple slides on that. Increasing online reviews. I'm going to leave you with just a couple of additional resources and we'll go from there. As Jordan mentioned, if you do have a question on today's presentation, feel free to use that little chat box in the Zoom toolbar and she'll read me those at the end. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. First, let's just talk about the importance of online reviews. So reviews in this day and age are just an effective word of mouth marketing strategy. I like to say it's a sense of social proof. It's this concept where if others trust you, I'm going to trust you too. And I think for a lot of us, when we put ourselves in the shoes of a consumer, right, someone who is shopping around, whether that be for a product that we're looking for on Amazon or a service, maybe I'm looking to switch to a different insurance provider, healthcare provider. What are other people saying about their services online? I, in a way, trust others a little more than I trust the actual organization itself, because of course they're going to say all the great things about them and what makes them different. And why should someone patronize them for their product services? Whereas a consumer who's already used them is going to share their honest and open feedback. So they're very important in this day and age as people look to others for recommendations. And so a couple of interesting statistics here, and I pulled these, our sources there at the bottom if you'd like to learn more about these, but 99.9% of customers read reviews when they shop online. And this certainly checks out. I know I do it when I'm about to purchase something or if I'm doing some research. We're all looking at online reviews and we're all looking at what others are saying. 96% of us look specifically for the negative reviews, and I've certainly done the same thing too. I've looked at a lot of the positives, but I really hone in on those negatives. What was the experience? What happened that caused this negative review? And we'll talk about this in a bit. Most importantly, how did the business respond to that negative review? 49% of consumers trust reviews as much as personal recommendations. Again, just as a friend would say, hey, I use this person for this service, or I purchased this product from this business, I loved it, or I didn't have a good experience with them. The restaurant had terrible service, I didn't like the food, they lost my reservation, I've tried that a couple of times, I've not had a very good experience. We trust our friends, but a lot of us trust online reviews just as much as maybe a close friend or family member. 60% of consumers feel that the number of reviews is critical when deciding to move forward. Just yesterday, I had a call that came in from an individual that had a Google business account, and we'll go over that, and just had 2 reviews, and they were both 2 5-star reviews. But when I compare that against another, maybe one of his competitors that has 300 or 400 4.8-star reviews, in a way, I might lean more towards the business that has more reviews, even though their star rating might be slightly off, but it's showing more sense of that social proof. More people are actually utilizing this company over here, and overall, they pretty much have a 5-star review rating. And so number of reviews is critical. If you just have a few of them, great, but what are ways that we can increase more of those reviews? And again, we'll talk about that here in a second. 84% of millennials don't trust conventional advertising. This kind of goes back into how we're constantly looking at what others are saying. And this was really interesting. 3.3 out of 5 stars are really the lowest rating customers are likely to consider. So anytime, whether we're looking at a restaurant, a service-based business, a retail store, a hotel, 3.3 out of 5 is kind of the lowest on average, according to the study, that we will really consider and look at. Anything below that is something is pretty wrong with that. Even for me, when I see a 3.3 out of 5 star, I start questioning it a bit. I kind of look for a minimum of, at least personally, anything below 4 stars. I really hone into those reviews to see what's going on with consumer feedback and their experience and interaction with that business. So again, just some interesting statistics. It really just shows that online reviews are critical for just getting other people to patronize your business and to hopefully reach out and to contact you. All right, so let's talk about some popular platforms. There are so many platforms out there to leave feedback, to leave reviews. And this next slide that we go over, by no means is this are these the only platforms out there. This is more from just personal experience working with a number of different clients. What are some of the most popular ones that a lot of consumers are going to and a lot of our businesses are utilizing to help manage their online reputation, online reviews? So I broke these down into categories for you. We're going to go over some general, most common platforms, food and beverage, business employment. This is more for large companies that we'll talk about, hospitality and tourism, e-commerce, and then business services. So today's webinar is really, we're kind of focusing more on the general and most common platforms, because this is where a lot of industries use these two platforms. And the first one is your Google Business Profile. This is that listing that comes up on the right-hand side of Google. This is free for you to have, but this is what a lot of us, especially a lot of us who have brick and mortar stores, right? Or even home-based businesses, and you service the area. A lot of us have that Google Business Profile. We'll talk about what that is, and if you're not verified, a quick slide on the verification. But Google My Business is kind of the first entry gate, if you will, when people are looking for reviews, seeing what your Google review rating is on the front page of Google. Of course, the second one is Facebook. A lot of us are still, of course, using Facebook. Facebook continues to be a popular platform for many different audiences and different age groups. So we're going to go over Facebook in a second here and where your reviews are located. But today's webinar, we are focusing a little more on kind of Google and Facebook. Now, I will say a lot of the principles and best practices that we share today, these can be carried across these other platforms that I'm going to show you, right? So how to respond to a negative review, you're going to take that kind of a best practice and apply those to these other platforms. But for our friends on the call who are in the restaurant, beverage industry, OpenTable and Yelp, I'm sure you're well familiar with those. These are those food and beverage platforms. This is where you make those reservations, you look at food images, and of course, you leave reviews. I think before Google Business Profile, Yelp was really the kind of the key platform for leaving reviews back in the day. But now I think it's kind of segued a little more to where it's focused more on that food and beverage. Business employment, I put in parentheses here, large companies. Glassdoor is essentially a platform where employees can leave feedback about the company before they leave, maybe what some interview questions were, etc. Glassdoor doesn't really make sense for more of our small to mid-sized companies on the call today, but some of our larger companies, I do recommend looking online to see, does your company have a presence on Glassdoor? Even if you don't remember setting up an account, it could have organically just appeared from maybe former employees leaving feedback. And if you see your company name represented on Glassdoor, certainly go through the process of claiming that account. We'll go over the importance of making sure that you have a presence on all of these platforms here in a bit. But Glassdoor is, again, a way for employees to leave feedback about working and the culture about that company on this particular platform. Hospitality and tourism, again, those kind of tourism-focused companies, those kind of experience-based companies or organizations, and hospitality, hotels. TripAdvisor is still a very popular platform, again, for leaving photos, for leaving feedback on your experience at that hotel, on your experience with that kind of tourism activity. E-commerce, of course, Amazon, for those who may sell on Amazon. Again, a lot of the best practices that we'll talk today about responding to reviews can be applied to Amazon. And one that has really grown in popularity over the past handful of years is Nextdoor. For those of you unfamiliar with Nextdoor, I want you to think of it like Facebook. It's Facebook for your neighborhood, which is really interesting. So I live in a neighborhood, and that it's an HOA that has Nextdoor. And so we all have kind of a Nextdoor account. I think a postcard is mailed to the homes, and then we can communicate with our neighbors through this platform without really having to connect with them on Facebook if you don't want to be friends with your neighbor on Facebook. But Nextdoor, it's very similar. You have a stream. You can ask questions. Hey, who do you use for roofing? Who do you use for plumbing? I need my patio leveled. Who do you use for concrete leveling? It's a lot of home-based business services questions and conversations on there. But what's nice with Nextdoor is you can run advertisements on Nextdoor. So this is a kind of new thing that just came out within the past year. But just like Facebook, you can have a business presence on Nextdoor. So think about that if you do offer business services, or if you target certain neighborhoods, or if you just need to target the mass population within the community, you offer services to many people. Nextdoor might be something you want to look into because you can have a business profile. They do have a rating system. They call theirs recommendations, where users can leave a recommendation about your business. So again, that is Nextdoor, one of my new favorite platforms that I really think is up and coming. But let's talk about Google and Facebook, as these two are really the popular ones where a lot of people are leaving reviews. The first one is one of my favorite tools on the internet. That's a free tool from Google, and that is your Google Business Profile account. We have our own separate webinar about this. I know I've talked about this many times in my past one for those who have joined a lot of my other webinars. But Google Business Profile, if you look on the right-hand side, the yellow outline, this is the listing for your business that comes up on Google. I will say, for those who may have claimed your listing, you've managed this, but you really haven't gone in for a little bit, maybe over the past few years, they've made a massive change to how you edit your profile. So that's why I wanted to include it in the presentation today. The orange box here is now how you manage your Google Business Profile. You actually go to the front end of Google. I'm still getting used to this, but you can just type in your name, and as long as you're an admin to your Google Business Profile account, this is what you see in the orange box. Anyone else, the public, anyone else not connected to your business profile account won't see this, but this is now how you manage everything, specifically how you respond to reviews. So you'll see underneath your business on Google, that second little icon there, read reviews. This is where you can read and respond to reviews, all right here from the front page of Google. For those of you who don't have a Google Business Profile or unsure how to claim it, I included a screenshot here. You're going to go to google.com/business and then click Manage Now. It will look to see if your business has organically just appeared on Google, where you can claim it, or you can submit a verification process where our verification claim, they will send you a postcard in the mail with a PIN. You enter the PIN, you now have access to your listing, or they may call your business to verify that it is a legitimate phone number. Again, the computer will give you a PIN, you enter that, and you'll be good to go. There's no cost at all. And I will say, we as a marketing company, we get calls all the time at the office saying that we're from Google and we want to get your listing up on Google, and you should pay us or pay Google. Those are all just sales calls. You can do this certainly yourself, and there is no cost to showing up on Google. You just have to go through that verification. All right, let's segue over to Facebook. Again, just kind of showing you where these live on this popular platform. But Facebook is also a very popular platform for leaving online reviews. These are our friends at Apricot Lane here in Champaign. But just a screenshot here, you'll see underneath View Shop, you have that little tab bar there, Post About Shop, and then I highlighted their little review tab there. If I was to click the reviews, of course, you can see there's a whole bunch of different reviews on here. And this was a great one that I found. Ordered an adorable top. They had a handwritten thank you card. Love my shirt. Love amazing customer service. Above and beyond, thank you. And the business responded. It wasn't the business owner from their personal account. It was the actual business that responded, which is great. Thank you so much for the kind review and for shopping online with us. We appreciate you as a customer. Incredible response, nothing too lengthy. You're thanking them for taking the time to leave that positive review. So again, this is where reviews live on Facebook. Now, the next slide here, some of you may go to your Facebook page and say, I don't see it. Where are my reviews? There is a way to activate or deactivate your review section on your Facebook page. So let's say maybe you've been bombarded with either spam reviews or just a lot of negative reviews, maybe from a former team that you had, and now you're working to refresh a few things and you want to take down or hide your reviews momentarily while you come up with a new strategy. As you click reviews, you're going to see those little 3-dot button there on the right-hand side, highlighted in yellow. Click that, and then below is now a pop-up of, you have the option to allow reviews on that page. You can toggle this on or off. So if you don't see reviews, maybe go into your settings to see if this is somehow toggled off. so then users can leave reviews on your page. But again, wanted to kind of show you those two popular platforms. And then everything that we share today is really best practices for any platform that I shared with you. So let's go over what are some tips and best practices. So I always like to say, we're going to talk about negative reviews, and I know negative reviews are difficult, right? Because it's hard not to take it personally, and you work so hard to offer just incredible service to your customers. But at the end of the day, keep in mind that while you're responding to reviews, you're not just responding to that individual, you're responding to the general public. Anyone who's ever doing some research about your company will see this review a week from now, 3 years from now, right? This will stay up forever. And so it's very important to keep that in mind when you're reviewing. You want to avoid getting too personal and being too salesy by offering maybe additional incentives or advertisements. So let's start with, what are some tips for good reviews, right? Your customer just shared a positive review. Perfect. So we want to thank them for taking the time to respond. This is always a challenge for businesses, because they're like, we've been getting a lot of negative reviews, we don't get a whole lot of positive reviews. And this makes sense, right? Anytime we have a very negative experience at a business, we get fired up. We want to let the world know, right? We want to put our stamp on this and leave that negative review so that others are warned about this experience I just had. But when we have a positive review, we're less likely then to take the time to go online, to find their business listing, to find their Facebook page, to find their Nextdoor account, and to leave that positive review. But you will still get some from time to time, and we'll share some tips on how to maybe increase some of these a bit. But when you do get a positive review, my recommendation is respond. Thank you for taking the time to leave that review. So I provided a couple examples here for positive reviews. Thank you. We hope to see you again soon. Name of the person calling someone out adds that nice personal touch. Thanks for sharing your experience. We're thrilled to hear you enjoyed your experience, right? This kind of goes back to brand tone and messaging as well. You want to make sure that whatever tone, whatever brand messaging you're using is also reflected with how you respond to individuals online. But overall, tips for responding to positive reviews are pretty simple. Respond to the ones that come in, and simply thank them. We don't want to go into too much detail. We don't want to leave a paragraph of praise, right? But they did just take the time to go out of their way to leave a review. Let's make sure we thank them. All right, so let's talk about negative reviews. And this gets tricky, right? Because I know that sometimes you might just get a 1-star review with no explanation at all. So how do we respond to these? And so these are some tips for bad reviews. One of the first key ones is respond in a timely manner. Customers will appreciate a prompt response. One of the things to consider is, are you getting email or push notification alerts? As a marketing agency, as a marketing partner for a lot of our clients, our team members are connected to a lot of our clients' Google accounts. So we'll get emails anytime someone leaves a review, but maybe something happened on the back end of the notification settings, and you come to find out, wait, I'm not getting any of these alerts. You need to take some time to look at, are you getting the emails? A lot of times I also hear, there were a former employee that was connected to this. I don't have access to our Facebook page. I don't have access to our Google page or any of the other kind of review platforms. What should I do? Take the time to work to untangle that, right? See if you are getting those notifications via email or through the app, through push notifications. This is going to alert you when something critical is happening. And again, at that time, if it is a negative review and they've left some feedback, that customer is a little fired up at that point. It's a little emotional, but the fact that you can respond promptly helps ease things just a little bit. It's really showing that you're keeping an eye out of just customer experience online and that you care. While the person who left the review, while they're going to see that, again, others are going to see that as well. If I see a negative review online that was posted a month ago, and I don't see any response for the business, there's a flag that goes off in my mind, because now I'm almost on the side of the person that left that negative review, because I'm saying, well, gosh, looks like the business doesn't care anyway. So I'm going to have to take this person's word for it. So respond in a timely manner, stay professional, and stay courteous. So never lash out and avoid taking the review personally, which I know for a lot of us, especially our small businesses on the call, it's hard. We wear so many different hats and we're trying to juggle so many different things that mistakes happen. And sometimes our customers or clients are affected by that, right? And so we want to make sure we stay professional during all this. And lastly, on this slide, understand your customer's experience with your business before responding. If someone mentions a problem with a product or service, investigate to see what may have gone wrong. Be honest about mistakes you made and steps you've taken or will take to correct the situation. And again, we have some example responses that I'm going to share with you here in a bit. Apologize when appropriate, but don't take responsibility for things that weren't your fault. Again, since others are going to read this, you don't want to just say, oh gosh, we're so sorry this happened, because all of a sudden now it looks like the blame is on them. And again, we'll give you some sample responses here in a second. Offer to talk it over. This is critical. Out of a lot of these this is very, very, very important. If this is the first you're hearing of the complaint, invite the customer to email or call so that you can sort out the matter with them. And in the parentheses, in all caps, take it offline. You don't want to have an ongoing conversation with a customer through the review section, because again, everyone is going to see that. You want to be prompt, courteous, professional. Really showcase that you want to correct or look into the situation and provide them with a way to contact you directly, right? We'd love to hear about your experience. We'd love to learn more or to look into this further for you. Please email us, or please email me at email, or contact me at phone number, so we can look into this for you right away. That would be great, right? You're letting someone know that I hear you, I see your complaint, but I want to talk to you about it more so we can investigate this for you. And so you're encouraging them to reach out. Before I started my agency, I worked for a company in the marketing department as a marketing manager, and part of my job was to make sure I'm managing our online reputation. And this is what I did all the time. And I will say, for every negative complaint that I responded to, I would say maybe 5 to 8% actually took us up on that and called us or emailed us. The rest just wanted to leave the negative review and be done with it. They felt better after that. But again, since I responded, when others are looking at that, there's some bonus points on our end, because as the business, it's like, gosh, they responded promptly. They were nice about it. It looks like they want to correct the situation. Okay, this might be a one-off complaint from this particular customer, and the business is willing to now correct it. And then just show that you're authentic and genuine. So sign off with your name or initials to show that you're taking the matter seriously and that a real person is listening. This is what I always did anytime I responded to positive or negative reviews. I didn't put my full name. I either put Scott and then my last initial, or just my initials. But this just shows that there is a human behind this Google profile. There's a human behind this business account that wants to assist you through that. So be authentic and be genuine. All right, so I have about 6 different responses to share with you when you do get a negative review. And so these are specific kind of scenarios. So we kind of, with these responses, we can kind of envision maybe what the complaint was for this 1-star review, but let's go over these together. So again, this is a business responding to a 1-star or just very poor review, really on any of your platforms. So thank you for the feedback, Anna. I'm sorry to hear that you waited longer than expected for your table. Our goal is to always seek customers as quickly as possible, and we are always working to make our process even more efficient. We hope to have the chance to serve you again. This is great because you're thanking them for the feedback. You're sorry to hear you had to wait for that table, but yet you're letting not only this person, but everyone else that's reading the review Our goal is to always seek customers as quickly as possible, right? So I love adding that additional language in there. It's also not too lengthy. You get right to the point, and we hope to have the chance to serve you again. Obviously, this person isn't going to include contact information, because if it's just a matter of our table took way too long, or they took forever to seat us, there's really nothing else to discuss into that matter. There's nothing really to dive deeper into or investigate. So you're signing it off with this: we hope to have the chance to serve you again. Yeah, give us a second chance, and we're going to make this right. And then you're signing off as just the name in parentheses. You're the owner of the business. So that's a great response. Next one. This is one that I see a lot of. Once in a while, you'll get a 1-star review with no explanation, just a 1-star review out of the blue. How do you respond to that, right? Hi, Abby, I see that you left a 1-star review rating, but no details about your experience with us. I would love to hear more about how we can serve you better. Initials, lead stylist. So it looks like this was from a hair salon here. Someone just left a 1-star review and didn't take the time to actually explain why their experience was bad. If I was a customer, or a potential customer, doing my research and looking at the reviews, and I see this scenario going on, I see exactly that 1-star review there at the top under let's practice, and then this response for the business, I'm not going to think twice about it. I'm going to be more on the side of the business, because it's that person didn't leave anything to go off of, and it's showing me that the business does care, and it looks like they want to make it right. They want to hear about those details so they can serve them better. So that's a great response, great idea for those who have just 1-star review ratings. Third one here. John, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I looked into it, and you are completely right. It took us 3 days to review or return your estimate, which is entirely too long and not in line with our promise of a 24-hour turnaround. This is not how we do business, and we would appreciate the chance to make it up to you. Please give me a call directly. I love this. This is that example, going back to our other slide, where you take ownership and you apologize when appropriate. It looks like this person was correct with leaving a negative review. This was not in line with this company's policies. But I love the response of this, because it's showing that this business took the time to look into what was going on. And yet, in the response, you're also letting him and the public know what your promise is. And your promise is a 24-hour turnaround, and you dropped the ball on this one. Again, mistakes happen. That's okay. This is not how we do business, and we would appreciate the chance to make it up to you. Again, if I was someone reading this and their business didn't respond, I would be like, oh gosh, okay, maybe they're short-staffed, maybe things are taking a little too long. But now reading the response for the business, it looks like an honest mistake was made, and the business is doing what they can to fix that situation. So that's an incredible response. A couple more here. Thanks for stopping by to check out our store. We do offer discounts a few times a year, which might bring our prices closer to the range you are looking for. Please join our mailing list if you'd like to be notified about our sales. This one appears to be from a retail store, and maybe this person was complaining about the prices being too high, which sometimes I've seen this from time to time. How to respond to that? This was an incredible response. It looks like the business does offer sales, and they do encourage them with that call to action to join a mailing list where they do send out sales. So this was a great way to combat a difficult review. If someone's saying your pricing is too high, if you offer sales or kind of free demonstrations or whatever it may be, this would be a great response for that. And then I think this is our last one here. Javier, I'm sorry to hear that you're frustrated by our 15-day return timeline. Unfortunately, we cannot change this policy, but we do try to make it clear with signs in store or on our website that it won't be a surprise to our shoppers. We hope you'll shop with us again, Sandra. This really, I find this one kind of funny. This is a perfect response, by the way. But really what this person is really saying is, you didn't read our signs. you didn't see the signs in the store. But it's worded in a way where, I'm sorry to hear that you're frustrated. This is our policy. We haven't changed from this policy. It is our policy, And we do have signage in our store and on our website. So it shouldn't be a surprise to other shoppers, but this person's ending their response very nicely. We hope you'll shop with us again. So again, you're letting other people know, yep, this is our policy. We're firm on this, but we do communicate this policy, this review policy, or I'm sorry, return policy to all of our shoppers, both in store and on our website. So again, incredible response. And then, oh, one more, last one. It looks like this one's from a plant store, or, oh no, we want your new plants to thrive when they get home. I'd be happy to share some tips on watering and replacement if you want to give me a call. And of course, we stand by our 30-day happy plant policy if you prefer to place them. This looks like this was a plant store. Plants weren't thriving after maybe someone brought them home. And this is how the owner responded. I love this because this person wants to help. I want to give you some watering tips. I do need you to call me. And really that last sentence there is not only for them, but for everyone else looking. We do stand by our 30-day happy plant policy if you prefer to replace them. Again, you're providing that peace of mind to that person and to others, maybe looking at patronizing that plant business. Okay, if this doesn't work out, this plant, if I don't do well with this plant, I can return it within 30 days. So I love those responses. So hopefully this little practice session here showing you these different responses kind of helps put some things in motion, or put some ideas in mind of how to respond to different cases there, right? How to respond to someone who doesn't leave an actual description, they just leave a star rating. How to put in there some of your policies, reinforce some of your policies. How to respond to someone who, yes, we as the business, we made an honest mistake. How are we going to correct this for you? So again, just some nice examples of how to respond to some of those negative reviews. All right. So I get this question asked a lot too. How do I get rid of reviews? And I will say, each platform has their own set of rules. So I don't have all those memorized on all the platforms, but I do know, since Google is the most popular one, that's the one I wanted to focus on today, we do encourage you to review each platform's policy to removing reviews. Below is a summary of Google's policy. Report only reviews that violate Google policies. The next slide, I have a summary of what some of those policies are. Don't report a review just because you disagree with it or don't like it. Google will not get involved with business and customer arguments, and because there's no reliable way for Google to know who's right about that case. Google's not a court system, so they're not going to just side with you as the business, but there are some ways to still remove certain reviews. So if you see a questionable review, and again, we're going to go over some quick policies here in a second, you can go to any review that you have access to in the back end of your Google listing, click the three dots in the corner, and then you're going to click report review. So what are some reviews that you can report? These are Google's policy kind of summary sections. Harassment, hate speech, personal information, fake engagement, misinformation, adult themed content, violence, of course, illegal content, child safety, off topic, repetitive content, gibberish, I found that one funny, gibberish, advertising, solicitation, etc. I will say, if you just go to Google and type in like Google review or Google business listing review, prohibited and restricted content policies, each one of the categories that I am showing here has a little drop down, and it provides you with an explanation of really what they're looking for. Common ones off the top of my head is if someone is using a lot of profanity within their review, you can report that. There's a good chance that Google is going to remove that. If someone is calling you out by your full name, your first and last name, there's a good chance Google will remove that. If someone is completely off topic with the business itself, or it just doesn't look like, why are we getting this review? This has nothing to do with us. Report that. There's a good chance that Google will remove that. One of the examples I have is, so our office is located in the old Orpheum Theater in downtown Champaign. And so we did some work on cleaning up and cleaning the Google listing, as this used to be a museum at one point. And so as we set up this new account, a 1-star review came in for the business, and it said, this should have been an indoor skate park. 1-star review. That has nothing to do with the actual venue itself. It's just someone's personal opinion. And so we reported that, and Google did remove that review. And so again, this is probably a combination of misinformation and off topic, I would say, for that particular review. It just really had nothing to do with the actual business itself. It was more someone's just personal opinion of what the building should have been when it was purchased. And so you were able to report that. But again, you can't report it if you just don't agree with it, but there are some ways to report it if it falls within one of these. So I do encourage you to look into what their full list of prohibited and restricted content is. That could help clean up a couple things, specifically on Google reviews. Again, each platform that I shared with you earlier may have their own set of policies and rules with removing content. Okay, one of the last sections here, and then we'll go over some questions that you may have, is, okay, how do I increase my online reviews? I haven't really done much with this. We have some negative reviews, etc. I was in the same boat. So again, before I started my company, when I was managing that marketing department, we had I worked in property development back in the day, and we were doing a lot of renovation work to the properties that we owned. And unfortunately, just the nature of how we were doing them, we were doing renovation work while people were still kind of living within the units. And so, of course, a lot of people were upset, and we had to do a lot to remedy the situation. But we do know that we were also a very popular company to live with. And so there were a lot of potential good reviews out there that were just untapped. And so what I'm going to share with you today is how we took our reviews from like a 2 to 3 star and moved them up to about a 4 or 5 star in a matter of just a few months. So of course, one of them is getting on the same sites as your customer. So the Nextdoor, the Glassdoor, the of course, Google Business Profile, OpenTable, etc. Where are your customers spending their time online? You want to make sure that you have a claimed account on there and you have access to that account so you can respond to the business. Most importantly, simply ask. Anytime we're designing a website for a client, a lot of times we need testimonials. The client asks for a testimonial from a trusted customer, they always get it. Same thing with Google reviews. If you take the time to ask some of your key customers to leave a nice review, or not even nice review, but would you mind taking the time to leave a review or share your experience online? There's a good chance they're going to do it, but you do need to simply ask. So one idea is just an in-person conversation. So after every positive interaction, encourage customers to share their experience online, train your employees to ask too. I'm not saying that you need to ask every single person that comes into your door, please leave us a review on Google. But you could just tell sometimes through an interaction when a customer is super happy with you. They love working with you. They love coming in. They're a repeat customer. Bring it up in natural conversation. Hey, would you mind if you could leave your experience on Google? We're really working to have more of our clients share their experience online. Perfect. Second is an online survey. This is how we grew our reviews. We did an online survey, and so it was after potential residents toured a property with us, or after they signed with us. Actually, they signed a lease with us. At that time, they're happy. They picked us for a reason. They're getting excited for their unit. They signed a lease with us, and they're always. It was always fun at that point because you could just tell that they were super excited. We then send a survey with about 3 or 4 questions about their overall experience. How was how was the staff member that you worked with? How was your scheduling experience, etc. At the very bottom, we also added a section where it said, share your experience online. We'd love for you to share with others your experience with us. And then we had a button that then took someone directly over to the review page. We didn't incentivize them with anything, and that's another thing I want to quickly discuss. There are some rules with incentivizing people to leave reviews. I always say, try to stay away from it if you can. You don't want to say, hey, we'll give you a gift card if you leave us a 5-star review. Ooh, that gets kind of icky, right? We just simply asked, and it ended up working out very well. And I'll show you how to add a link and a button directly to send someone to your online reviews. POS and front desk signage, we're seeing more and more of this actually. We're currently designing some like business card size cards that have a QR code on the back that says, we'd appreciate a review or share your experience online. Someone scans that and it takes you over to the online review system. Again, this kind of goes back to marketing materials. You can add this within your email signature, on your receipts, any touch points with clients, simply ask. A lot of retail stores, like boutique stores, clothing stores, they'll add a little card, a little thank you card handwritten in the order with maybe a QR code, or share your outfit online with a hashtag, or review our business online. So think about all the different marketing materials you have, and what are some messaging that you can add within that to encourage people to leave reviews. I've added a couple of phrases in here. If you're looking for ways to phrase your request, it might say, please support us with your reviews and photos on Google, Facebook, on any of the other platforms we discussed. Thanks for being a valued customer. We'd love to hear about your experience. Please leave us a review on Google. Reviews are really important to us. We'd love to hear about your experience. Quick and easy. All right, so one of the tips I have to send someone directly to leaving a review. This is great if you want to embed this within a survey, like behind a button. On your Google Business Profile Manager, you can go to the front end here. I outline this in yellow, ask for reviews. Once you click that, you're going to see this pop up, and that is a review link. You're going to copy that and hyperlink that behind anything you want, button, a section on your website, email signature, a QR code that you generate. But this review link is a direct link over to your pop-up page for someone to leave a review. This is so cool. And this, I think, just came out a couple of years ago. Back in the day, it was very challenging to get a code, a line of code, once you click it for your review window to pop up. We had to like custom code this just for that window to pop up. And now, just recently, Google is now giving us a direct link to our own review pop-ups. So if I was to click that link, this is what pops up. And I love this because customers don't have to go hunt for it online. They just click it and boom, that window comes up. I can leave the star rating and share my experience and add a couple photos. So again, that is on your Google Business Profile admin account, ask for reviews, and that's that link there. The other thing I want to share, this came out maybe 5-6 years ago, marketingkit.withgoogle.com, URL there at the top. This is where you can type in your business name, and if you're verified on Google, it will show up, and they can send you, you can download a handful of different things. So this is a local company here in town, Bacon and Van Buskirk Glass Company, and they have a kind of custom little fun graphics of actual reviews. It has the Google logo in the corner, a 5-star review by this person. You can download those and share those on your social media accounts to kind of reinforce all these positive reviews that you're getting in. You can also download templates for window stickers. What I don't like about this anymore, this marketing kit, is I think before COVID, you can request a kit and they mailed you stuff. They mailed you a Google window sticker. They mailed you these little table tents that you could set up in your lobby or waiting area or restaurant that encourage people to review. But unfortunately, they don't mail you physical products anymore. You do have to download them, and then you can work with a printing company to get some of those printed. But at the end of the day, you still can get some cool digital graphics of some existing reviews that you have on your Google account, which is pretty cool. All right, so that really brings us to the end of today's webinar on how to respond to online reviews. I hope you got some takeaways with just best practices on how to respond to both positive and negative reviews. I know it can be pretty challenging and really disheartening when you do get that negative review come in, but again, don't take it personally. Do your best to respond, again, not only to that person, but you're really responding to everyone else online looking into your company. So thank you again very much for joining us. I do want to hand it over to Jordan, and we'll see if we have any questions that I can help answer with the next 5-10 minutes here.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. We don't have any questions yet, but we actually have all of our attendees still. So we'll give it a minute or two here and see if any come in. I do want to remind everyone, because I did see a few jump on shortly after we started, you will receive a recording of this session. So if Scott said anything at the beginning that you missed, you will be able to go back and review that. And I'll also include that link that Scott had at the beginning of the presentation where you can go to download a copy of the PowerPoint as a PDF on the Clanin Marketing website. One other quick note I do want to say is, like Scott mentioned, we do have sessions scheduled through August, but we will be looking at the rest of 2023 and 2024 soon enough, as weird as that sounds. So if you have an idea for a topic of something that you think may be interesting to you and your fellow small business owners, please feel free to share that with us. This topic did come off of a recommendation, so we're always open to listening to those and exploring how that may be an idea that we can present on. Scott's great at what he does, so usually we can figure something out. But thank you everyone for joining, and thank you. Actually, our recommendation, Brandy, is on here, so thank you, Brandy, for the recommendation on this topic. We do appreciate that.
And I do actually, since we have just a couple minutes here, and we do have some handful of people still on the call, I do want to make one recommendation. Let me drop this in the chat. I think everyone should be able to see this. Perfect. This is a program I haven't talked much about in my webinars, but I do want to share it because I use this a lot when I was in a role of managing and monitoring our reputation online. And this is a program called Google Alerts. This basically alerted me anytime our company was mentioned anywhere on the internet. I don't know if this program has changed much over the years, but this really helped me monitor, okay, if a news article came out about us, maybe a community forum or something, there was some discussion about us. Google can alert you, excuse me, on a variety of different topics or business names that you put in. And then again, it's all about, being alerted very quickly, so then you can take appropriate action in a timely manner. So again, that is called Google Alerts, and like all Google products, there is no cost with that. So I wanted to drop that in the chat.
So I don't see any questions coming in, so we can go ahead and close out a few minutes early today, but thank you everyone so much for attending. Thank you, Scott, for presenting. I will get that email sent out later this afternoon, so be on the lookout for that, and I'll include any and all of the follow-up information that I can, including our events calendar, so you can join us for our next session with Scott. Like he said, we do have one coming up in person, so if you'd like to see us in person, feel free to join us at the library.
Hope to see you there. Thank you all very much for joining, and again, happy National Small Business Week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.